Ithini opinion yakho ngesithembu? Nafe.
Sefako.
Ngisha ngonyanyave le moto yona.
Great.
One side. Otogeni. And this.
Hello everyone, welcome back to ASR, African Stories Realized. This is our weekly review of Youngins Season 3, episodes 10 to 12. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get into it. Episode 10 picks up in the boys' dorms as Tumelo tried to comfort Mahlatse after Ramathuba rejected his attempt to pay school fees. Mahlatse refused to confide in Tumelo and insisted that he needed to face his issues alone. However, Tumelo revealed his concern to the rest of the Big Five, insisting that they need to try and help Mahlatse despite their reluctance. The group approached Mahlatse and offered to contribute some of their own money to help fund his fees. However, Mahlatse refused to be a charity case, rejecting the donations and once again insisting that he would face his problems alone. Back in his room, Mazambane and Tepo arrived to buy more homemade beer from Mahlatse. However, a tense negotiation ensued after Mahlatse revealed that he had increased his prices. He insisted that the students had to meet his demands because he was the only supplier in school. Tepo and Mazambane ultimately accepted to pay the increased price, but warned Mahlatse against getting too greedy. Tumelo and Sefako then spoke about their kiss, with Sefako insisting that it was a mistake and that he had to tell Palesa. However, Tumelo suggested that he should dump Palesa so they could be together. Tumelo and Palesa then had a heated exchange over their entanglement with Sefako, with Tumelo ultimately revealing to a shocked Palesa that him and Sefako shared a kiss. Meanwhile, Khaya confided in Sefako about his breakup with Amo, but Sefako suggested that he has two options: to either be patient and wait for Amo, or to get himself a side chick, but risk losing Amo. Khaya apologized to Amo, and the couple made up, but Amo made it clear that she still wanted to wait for marriage. The couple seemed to be going strong, but the episode ends with Khaya sleeping with a different girl in his room, swearing her to secrecy. Episode 11 picks up with Tumelo warning Mahlatse for being reckless after he spotted him selling to grade 8 students. He offered to call his dad to make a plan, but Mahlatse insisted that even if Tumelo's father sold a cow to help him pay for his fees, it would only be a short-term solution and wouldn't cover his outstanding amount for the remainder of the term. Palesa then confronted Sefako in class for kissing Tumelo, with Sefako later revealing to Khaya that he was conflicted and didn't know which one to choose. He then asked both of them to meet, where they immediately started arguing in front of him and demanded that he choose, but Sefako insisted that he wanted both of them. Amo finally came around and revealed to Khaya that she was ready to get more intimate and at least experiment with him. She came to his room after school, but just as the couple was getting started, Amo was forced to hide after one of the teachers knocked on Khaya's door and revealed he was there to search his room for alcohol. Meanwhile, Mahlatse bought himself some much needed toiletries before calling his mother to inform her that he had a plan to stay at Olifant so she shouldn't worry about him. Little did he know that Principal Ramathuba had found a bottle of his brew on the school premises and had begun a search for the alcohol. The principal arrived in Tumelo and Mahlatse's room and quickly found the evidence that Mahlatse was brewing alcohol in school. The episode ends with Ramathuba ordering Mahlatse to pack up his things and to meet him in his office, where he will call his mother to come and fetch him. Episode 12 picks up in Khaya's dorm, where he bribed the teacher who was searching his room, convincing him to look the other way while Amo hid under his bed. Khaya was excited to resume their intimate evening together until Amo confronted him with a used condom she had found under his bed. Khaya initially claimed that it belonged to Sefako, but he was forced to admit that it was his after Amo threatened to call Palesa and ask if she'd slept with Sefako. Khaya tried to apologize to Amo, but they were interrupted by Tumelo, who reported that Mahlatse was in Ramathuba's office after he was caught selling alcohol. Amo and Tumelo stayed behind worrying about Mahlatse, while Buhle and Khaya attended career day in the hall. During career day, a former student, Gabelo, who excelled while at Olifant, shared his knowledge with the students. And after speaking to the students, it was revealed that Buhle and Gabelo knew each other when he was still a student. Gabelo asked out Buhle and convinced her to leave with him immediately during school. Meanwhile, Sefako was hard at work trying to convince Palesa to agree to a polyamorous relationship. And to her friend's surprise, she seemed to be coming around despite her dislike for Tumelo. However, Tumelo was too concerned about Mahlatse to even entertain Sefako's proposal. In Ramathuba's office, the principal questioned why such a bright student would resort to selling drugs and alcohol in school before expelling Mahlatse. Mahlatse broke down in front of the principal and made a passionate apology, explaining how bad things were at home, insisting he only sold contraband to help take care of his mother, who was unemployed, something he had been doing since he was 12. Ramathuba returned Mahlatse to his room, where he was to wait until his mother arrived to fetch him. However, the principal had a change of heart, and the episode ends with him revealing that Mahlatse can stay in Olifant and that he will help him get a new scholarship. That was a great ending to today's episodes, which had to be the most complimentary of the season so far. They just went really well together. After the way Ramathuba attacked Mahlatse last week, I'm glad they redeemed the character, and you could actually see that he felt sorry for Mahlatse even last week. Ramathuba has really been an unsung hero for the show since season 1, and I love how the characters developed throughout the seasons. However, it's been teased that the students will rebel against the principal and his new rules, so it'll be interesting to see which side Mahlatse will be on, because he will feel indebted to Ramathuba after today. Mahlatse once again ate up those emotional scenes, and he's really been my MVP of the season so far. I've actually been overly impressed with the acting since last week, and I think it's because the story is heating up. I feel like those first 2 weeks of the season, the show was still finding its feet. I didn't expect Sefako's entanglement to go this far, and I don't think he was looking for a relationship. Both Palesa and Tumelo came onto him pretty strong, and his character suggests that it's hard for him to reject people. Maybe he's just a freak, but I feel like it's difficult for him to say no. However, for a second, I thought Sefako was going to smack Tumelo after he told Palesa about their kiss. Sefako clearly told Tumelo that he wanted Palesa to hear it from him, and that's Tumelo's problem. But I feel like most of the things he's done is because he loves attention, which is why he didn't even have time for Sefako while Mahlatse was in the principal's office. It does feel like Palesa is more into Sefako at this point than Tumelo. However, I don't like that Palesa is always being thrown into these divisive storylines, and I kind of feel that this storyline undermines her development from last season, but we'll see where it goes. Great writing with Amo threatening to call Palesa and confirm if she'd slept with Sefako. Not only was it funny, but it was an angle that was set up weeks ago. I do think Amo went from one extreme to another. It makes her seem undecided when she can go from claiming she wants to wait for marriage to being open to experimenting within a week. But honestly, I think Amo's just playing mind games with Khaya. She was testing him, and he failed badly. I'm not really feeling Buhle's storylines this season, and while she is 18 in the show, and Kabelo is a former schoolmate, I just don't think it's appropriate, and I don't trust Kabelo for some reason. He's already got Buhle bunking school, so I suspect he might turn out to be a villain. Speaking of villains, it's disappointing that Lesedi just disappeared without a proper explanation. But otherwise, it was a great follow-up to last week. These episodes are now my favorite of the season so far. Let me know in the comments what your favorite moments of this season are so far. Youngins Season 3 is streaming every Friday on Showmax. Thank you for watching. We'll be back next week with another review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is ASR for the love of African filmmaking and storytelling.